All right, in this video, we're going to talk about the brand new fragrance from Creed, Oud Zarian. If you want to know all about this fragrance, if it's worth your time and money, stick around. Oud Zarian from Creed is next. Welcome back to another video. 𝗥𝗿𝗄𝗃 here. Today we're going to talk about a brand new fragrance from Creed and the third fragrance from Creed that contains a quote-unquote prominent note of oud, if you will. We've had Royal Oud from back in the day. I think this was released back in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Julien Hasquinet was the nose behind this one. An incredible fragrance that's said to be an oud-based fragrance, but to be honest with you, it was more of a sandalwood and cedar kind of a fragrance with a very minimal oud here, if any. And of course, you also have one from 2013 called Millésime 1849, which I don't have a bottle right now. It has been reformulated, re-released. It's not as good as it used to be. But the one we're talking about today, I digress, is going to be the brand new Oud Zarian 2025 release. The time you're watching this video, I think it's going to start to populate in stores, you know, that carries Creed, or of course, Creed boutiques. Not very easy to find. I actually had to source this from Europe. And of course, if you look here on the light, the bottle itself is going to be somewhat of a maroon kind of a color. It's like a between purple and brown kind of a color, really a maroon with gold appointments. Classy bottle as we come to expect with Creed. Of course, batch code etched at the bottom here along with all the details. I don't have the box for this one here. The cap is going to be not magnetic, but very heavy metal. And the sprayers, we're going to go for the first spray here, of course, the first impression, you know, of this fragrance. I'm going to spray my hand. And of course, I'm going to spray a tester strip. And the thing about this fragrance that intrigued me the most, guys, is the actual note breakdown. I think overall, okay, so it's starting to take over the room. And to be honest with you, right off the bat, even without putting my nose on the tester strip or on my hand, just the actual aura that I've gotten for this fragrance, right off the bat, it's going to be a woody, spicy / gourmand oud type scent. So it's an oudy gourmand type scent. So if you like sweet fragrances, right off the bat, this is going to be sweet. Now, looking at the notes, we've got spices, we've got ginger, bergamot, frankincense, rose, sandalwood, tonka, patchouli, licorice, myrrh, and oud. What comes to mind, guys, well, let me leave that for later in this video, but right off the bat, it reminds me of something that's quite intricate, but also has the note of tobacco, which I don't see a tobacco note here in this breakdown. But let's talk about more in a few minutes. Let me talk a little bit about the opening of this fragrance. And by the way, the price point in this fragrance is going to be probably around the $595, $625 USD. Like I said, not yet populated on the Creed's website. If you go to Creed's website right now, they have everything else but this fragrance, because again, this is supposed to be dropping somewhere between August and September of 2025. But like I said, I've gotten the bottle from Europe. I was able to talk about it here on the channel. Of course, bring you guys forth my first thoughts and impressions on this fragrance. That's what we're doing here today. So when you smell this fragrance on the first spray here, first application, as the introduction, it's going to be bold. It's going to be rich, woodsy, spicy, and creamy sweet. So it has this gourmandy, sweet, licorice, spicy kind of a feel to it. It's not going to be for everyone in a sense that because of the licorice note here, it's going to be rather daring and a little bit divisive. A lot of people I know don't like anise, star anise, licorice notes in their fragrances. So if you don't like that note, right off the bat, it's going to be very prominent with this fragrance, so you may not like it. Now, the whole bergamot thing here is very fleeting. That's not much citrus to be talked about here. It's mostly a very woody, spicy, and heavy opening here. It's a little bit dark, quite bold in the account of that licorice. Very spicy, very woody, creamy, and slightly animalistic / smoky. But the opening here is nice. I really enjoy it. It's quite nice. It's quite bold. It's quite big. For Creed, I think this is actually a step up because Creed is known for their very wearable, easy to wear freshies. But last year we had Centaurus and Delphinus. Both fragrances were very dark, bold. I think Centaurus is a tobacco base. Delphinus was like really nice, spicy and woody iris-based scent. So borderline gourmand as well. So as we see, Creed now is going into this other territory or a different side of the spectrum that we've never really seen Creed do. And I think they're doing quite well, to be honest with you. I like what I see. And Oud Zarian is going to be one of those fragrances. Very dark, very bold, very spicy, slightly smoky, slightly gourmand. But like I said, between the oud that's used here and that licorice, it's not going to be for everyone. The smokiness factor that I'm getting here is because of the myrrh. There's like an instancey myrrh sweet along with that sandalwood that's very creamy, that's coming through right now. It is very concentrated. I don't know if you could see, but there's a sheen on my hand. It's quite shiny. There's heavy concentration here. I believe this is an eau de parfum. So it's quite heavy. I want to say 25% in concentration at least. So let me pause the video here and come back and give you a little bit more if there's any like development transition going on here. I'll let you know. There's a sweet factor coming in here. There's a gemmy rose in the heart of this fragrance. That's really nice. It's starting to come through a little bit, but it's not very floral. It's rather a very gemmy rose, kind of sweet rose, very nice, almost like a rose gem. And you also have a quite nice tonka beans note coming through. There's no vanilla or anything like that. It's not overly sweet, but it is sweet. And along with that licorice, it's adding that sweet, spicy, and smoky with that incense myrrh vibe that I'm getting as well. So let me pause the video again. For me, it's going to be for you, it's going to be a split second. For me, it's going to be a few minutes. I'm going to give it about 20 minutes or so to see if there's any kind of development here. I'll be right back to share more on, of course, the brand new Creed Oud Zarian. Stay right there. Okay, a few minutes have passed. This is a very spicy fragrance, guys, because tons of spices, it's just the spices. It's not really breaking down the spiciness or the different spicy notes, but I do get cardamom. I do get cinnamon. So there's definitely a ton of spices here, a ton of spicy notes. You also have ginger here, which also contributes to that spiciness. So it's a quite spicy fragrance. The best way, the three words to describe this fragrance, it's woody, it's spicy, and it's slightly gourmandish. So woody, spicy, gourmand. But it's not overly gourmand. If you're thinking something that's going to be overly sweet, that tonka bean adds sweetness to the fragrance, which I think, to be quite honest with you, kind of balance things out. If it wasn't for that tonka bean and the nice juicy patchouli that this fragrance has, I think it would have been very, very hard to wear because, the spiciness here is insane. The oud here is quite prominent. And again, that licorice can be harsh for some people. And the myrrh note here is quite spicy and smoky. So this would not be very wearable at all. And there's also a frankincense here. The frankincense here is also really nice because even though it adds dimension, it adds volume to the fragrance, it also kind of controls the fragrance. I believe the frankincense they use here adds this almost citrus kind of a variance of this particular frankincense that's actually really, really nice, really balances the composition, tones it down a little bit, making it a lot more wearable. And again, it has toned down quite a bit. That licorice has really gone to the background. It's still present, but not really in your face like the first 10, 15 minutes. 25, 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes at this point has gone, has passed. So the fragrance has toned down quite a bit. It's still very woody, still very spicy, slightly smoky, but thank goodness, that licorice has really gone to the background a little bit. It's still there. It's gonna peek its head through. If you're not a fan of licorice, you're not gonna like this one. There's no two ways about it, but it has toned down. It has gotten, especially on my hands here, it's gotten very creamy. The sandalwood here really peeks through. I love the sandalwood here. It's quite sweet, quite wearable. Definitely a better experience on skin than on strip as well. That's usually the way it goes. On strip, you get kind of one dimension. You put on skin, it really transitions and develops. So on skin, it's really nice, guys. It's going to be this really nice, woody, creamy, spicy, and sweet, almost gourmandy kind of a oud fragrance. I like it. I think it's a quite nice one. Again, not something to wear all year round unless you want to. I think this is best suited for spring, early spring, of course. Amazing for the fall and winters, especially the winters we get here in New York that are very brisk, windy, cold, crazy wind chill factor, crazy snowy kind of a season. This will be amazing for Christmas festivities. I think because of the spicy notes here, the ginger, the cinnamon, it's very festive. It's one of those fragrances that puts you in that mood. I smell this one, you close my eyes, I think about Christmas in New York. So that's kind of the fragrance that I'm getting here with this fragrance. Amazing for fall and winter and festivities. Definitely more of a grown-up kind of a scent, 25 and up to appreciate this one. Of course, price point is not going to be cheap. It's not going to be for everyone. Even when it hits discounters, it's going to be one of those that's going to be, I want to say $300 plus. I don't know if it's going to come in different sizes. So far, I've only seen this one in 100 ml, like you see here. And again, I think the price point is going to be between $5.95 to $6.25. It's going to be high. It's going to be up there because it's a Creed and it's an oud-based scent. And usually, an oud-based scent from high-end niche brands fetches up a pretty penny, and I think this one here is going to be no different. So what does Oud Zarian remind me of? Guys, this is its own fragrance, but it does borrow elements from fragrances that I know. It reminds me a little bit, the oud utilized here is quite nice and it's quite wearable, much like the oud that you'll find at Ombre Nomade from Louis Vuitton. And I have some licorice, spicy, woody kind of nuances and inflections that remind me of royal tobacco from Amouage. Now, there isn't any tobacco listed here, as I said before, but I do get a tobacco inflection here, even though it's not listed as a note. And because of the licorice and the myrrh and the frankincense, which are also present in royal tobacco from Amouage, it does remind me a lot of that fragrance more than anything. But the oud here is also very similar to that very wearable, oud and rose combo that you get with Ombre Nomade from Louis Vuitton. So it's like a combination of both fragrances. It's nice smelling. It's going to be great. It's going to be one of those, I think, universally appealing to an extent, especially from the heart into the dry down. However, that beginning, that introduction can be and will be quite divisive and a little bit polarizing. But overall, guys, Oud Zarian gets a thumbs up for me. It's a go. It's a good one. Definitely worth checking out. I would say, guys, try this on skin before you cough up the dough. This is expensive, so as always, I try it so you don't have to. I smell well, so you don't have to waste your money. A lot of times I want to keep you guys in the know. If you know my taste and you follow me for a while, I don't stir you wrong. So you want to try before you buy it, go to perfume.com. It's available there. Get a decant, live with it, love the fragrance before you commit to a full bottle. Of course, all details below. Use my code MAX15. The more you try, the more you save. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me here today as we talked about the new Creed Oud Zarian. If you guys appreciate the channel, don't forget to leave your like, show your support, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, hit that bell so you get these videos straight into your feed. Turn on your noties. I'm your guy. I keep you in the know. I'll see you guys right here with the next video very soon. Take care. Smell great. See you soon.